Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. So, just want to wish everyone a very happy Memorial Day. The weather here in the Catskills is absolutely perfect. I think it's 77 degrees. Great day. The Yanks just won walk off. They really needed that one. They were not hitting the last couple games. They lost three in a row. Severino pitched an absolutely great game. LeMahieu had a home run and a double, and IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, with a walk-off hit to win it in 10-3-2. But that's for my other channel, Tabor Talk. Sorry, that's my other channel, Yankee Talk. This is Tabor Talk. So, getting right into it. Memorial Day weekend, and it's Bert Kreischer's weekend, right? His movie, The Machine, opened up on Friday. So this is the topic of this video. I don't know. So I'm looking at the reviews. They're not very good. I didn't expect much from him. So, Bert's doing whatever he can to promote this thing. He's on Rogan. We'll give you a little taste here.
Depicted in the media.
Revenge of the Nerds. The dude rapes her. He puts on her boyfriend's clothing and rapes her. Rapes her.
I don't remember that.
He's talking about
At the end, she's like in a bounce house with the lights off.
She's
right?
in a bounce house. He grabs. They're at the talent fair. He grabs the mask, her boyfriend's mask, the girl he's attracted to, puts it on, and he pretends to be Darth Vader. He pretends to be her. He follows her into the crazy with all the mirrors. They land on the bounce house. She's like, "Take the mask off," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna leave it on." And then he fucks her. She doesn't know it's him.
Wow.
He fucks her.
That was interesting. That's where I left off. They're talking about the movie, The Revenge of the Nerds, where, like you say, there was like a rape scene. It was kind of accepted. It's so crazy. If you look at movies from the 80s and 90s, the culture was different. Like all of that, like date rape stuff was accepted. You talk about like the shaming of trans people. They were talking that what was that movie? I don't know the name. I didn't watch this bullshit. Mainstream comedy bullshit in the 80s and 90s, fucking garbage. But I think Dan Marino was in the movie too. It was Ace Ventura, was it? But they didn't know. I think Sean Young was playing a trans. I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but it turns out that the woman they thought was a woman was actually a trans. She had a penis, and there's a scene where everyone's throwing up. It's like, holy shit. You talk about how the culture has changed. So anyway, I digress as I usually do. Tabor talk, random stuff about politics, religion, sports, everything under the sun. I know some people say, "Hey, what do you mean? Why are you talking about the Yankee game?" It's like stuff you talk around the table, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, so my thoughts on Bert Kreischer. I don't want to be a hater, but the guy needs to, you know, like, uh, like I used to like Bert Kreischer a lot. Like I found out about him from Joe Rogan, like 2013, 14. I go, what a nice guy. He just seems like such a fun, loving, decent guy and partier and kind of neurotic. He talked about his anxiety and all that. And I go, you know what? He's like one of my favorite Joe Rogan guests. You kind of really pulling for him. And so now with all this huge fame, I mean, let's face it, Bert Kreischer is just blowing up. I mean, he does arenas like with his stand up. I mean, you could go on YouTube and it is packed, and they are Bert, he takes off his shirt and all that. So, always thought he was a really nice guy, kind of funny, kind of interesting. I thought when I just played like interesting stories and all that, but not great. Not the most talented guy in the world, but a kind of a guy like who he is, like the fat guy at the party who's kind of funny, like a John Belushi effect, but not nearly as funny as John Belushi. And you kind of like, wow, yeah, you're a good guy, and and glad you have a career and all this. But for him to be like this big thing, and the way he's talking about the machine, like dude, your ego is like your ego's getting away from you, and it's gross for everyone looking in on this, and it's gross for you because that shit will hurt you. That shit will hurt your career psychologically. It's not an easy thing being famous. It's really really tough. That's the one thing you got to say about Joe Rogan. He handles his fame like perfectly. Doesn't have an ego. He's very grounded. And he loves his working out is good. He works out very, very hard, does the cold plunges and all that. And he goes on these hunting trips. Like when you're in fucking nature, man, the bear, the fucking black bear, grizzly bear, whatever, nature doesn't give a shit if you're a star or not. Nature doesn't care if you're Brad Pitt or Joe Rogan, if you have the #1 podcast, right? It's so good for you. It's so grounding and healthy. So Bert's ego has and then he's like talking about how he's a celebrity, and then you see him in a bar, and he's with who's that? Stylebender, the fighter, and he's like yelling and screaming, "Who wants to fight me? I'll kick your fucking ass!" And he's not a violent guy, but he's going too much. And even Joe, if you listen to the podcast, Joe is like, Bert, everything's going great for you, but just take it easy, right? So Bert was talking about how he was working out, and what a life these guys have, right? So he runs into Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ed Norton, two giant celebrities, right? He goes, I love Ed Norton's movies, but he was kind of like standoffish. Like Bert's going, hey, Ed Norton, how are you? And Ed's like, okay, hello. But Arnold was, hey, I can't do Arnold's voice. Hey, Bert, a good friend, Bert. Like, that doesn't even sound like Arnold. Sorry, I got to work on my shoot a deer. I got to work on my Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the way, Arnold was my idol, no question about it. One of my idols growing up. Grade school, high school, I was very much into weightlifting and bodybuilding. Pumping Iron was my favorite movie. I thought Arnold was he was my idol, man. So I still love Arnold too. By the way, I really digress here, but a lot of people on the right are disappointed with his position on COVID. But anyway, this is a Bert Kreischer film. So, and I see that it's almost 8 minutes. I'll just wrap it up here. I don't want to be a hater, but I kind of hope the movie bombs. I know it's a terrible movie, the reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, gave it like a one bone, two stars, 20% likability. Some other, I don't know. We shall see. Nice guy, no question about it. I just think his ego is getting away from him. What do you think? Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk. Yankees win!